My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. We're going to go for about an hour 15 today talking sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. Typically, we do a show that's about an hour and a half long, but today going to cut it a little bit short because the stock market's going a little bit haywire right now. What I do for a living is retirement planning and investments. And let's just say that the market ain't too happy right now, man. Ain't too happy with what's going on. So I might have to take a cut out by about 11:15 or so. Joe, how you doing today, my man?
Doing good. We're gonna have Jeff joining us probably somewhere in the next couple minutes here. Went
Very
ahead and
nice.
told him already. Did record a Locked On Spurs with them prior to us doing the show this morning, so been a little busy.
Very good. Jeff Garcia does a fantastic job. Don't forget to subscribe to him at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and on Threads, or follow him at kens5.com. I subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. You should as well. Joe, before we talk about the Spurs, because that's what Jeff wants to get into, we need to get into the Cowboys.
Yeah, man.
Finally making some sort of moves. In back-to-back days, they've restructured the contracts of CeeDee Lamb and of Dak Prescott. Frees up about 36.6 million in cap space. Now, the weird thing about it, Joe, is that the Joneses, Steven and Jerry, seem to be contradicting each other as to what they're going to do with that money. You have one end saying we're going to be aggressive in pursuit of free agents. On the other side, you have Jerry saying we're going to be selectively aggressive. So, Joe, we saw this whole contract that the Cowboys signed of Dak Prescott, $60 million a year. That doesn't go away, right? This is kicking the ball, kicking the can down the street, right? Because at some point the bill's going to be due. But at least for right now, going into the 2025-2026 season, Joe, are you at least happy that the Cowboys are making some sort of move?
Yeah, they need to make some sort of moves. They restructured Dax Prescott yesterday, and doing that, they opened up 36.6 million in cap space. They did the same thing with CeeDee Lamb. So collectively, between CD and Dak Prescott, Cowboys now have 56.6 mil for free agency in this offseason. Right now, you're seeing that things are heating up, and as far as the trade market goes, teams are releasing players, wide receivers, cornerbacks. Cowboys need to make a move to shore up some of these holes that they have within the team itself. One of the big holes that they have right now, who are they going to get at center? They lost their center. He's retired. He's gone.
Right. Zach
Zach
Martin
Martin,
retired.
he's gone. Who are you going to get? That was an instrumental piece to the Cowboys in that line. So Cowboys definitely need to go ahead and make some moves. I like what Jerry Jr., or should I say, is saying in being aggressive. That's what you should have done last season. If they leave things up to Jerry Jones at this point, he's going to be like, well, Jerry's going to Jerry. I'm going to go and get somebody who's washed up because I think they're going to make an impact. And what's going to happen again, Mike? We're going to go, 30 plus losing seasons again? No, man. Get
Well, it
this
hasn't
guy
been
out of
30
here.
plus losing seasons. It's been 30 plus seasons since the Cowboys have been in the
They
Super Bowl.
won
Last
nothing.
time was Super Bowl 30, right? We're coming up on Super Bowl 60 next year.
They ain't won
Some big
nothing.
names out there. Sam Salinas on our YouTube stream, our chat line, powered by MCS General Contracting, saying, hey, big names out there. Devontae Adams, Joey Bosa surprisingly dropped by the Los Angeles Chargers yesterday. So that's a 5-time Pro Bowler. Uh, Somebody who is an all world, all defensive type of player that's available. I was thinking about it, Joe, and I'm thinking about what it's like to be Jerry Jones at this point in his life. Jerry Jones in his early 80s. And I have been fortunate or unfortunate in my lifetime to have been in the presence and to have spoken to 4 billionaires in my lifetime.
Jerry, one of them.
Jerry, one of them. I got drunk with Jerry Jones 20 years ago. And one of the things that you know about billionaires, and it doesn't matter if they're left wing, if they're Mark Cuban, it doesn't matter if they're right wing like Donald Trump. What they don't like is being the butt of the joke. They don't want to be embarrassed. And because of that, I know that Jerry can look at the scoreboard and say, hey, man, we're the most valuable team in all of professional sports. Scoreboard, baby. But for a billionaire to know that ESPN, FS1, every podcast is making fun of you, I think that might be cause for optimism for the Cowboys, and that maybe Jerry Jones can be shamed into actually running this team correctly, or maybe he has no shame at all. But I think that this is the first time I've ever seen Cowboy fans be very apathetic. I've seen the Cowboys during the Quincy Carter years, the Cowboys during the years where Tony Romo got hurt or where Dak Prescott got hurt, and they did nothing. There was still this optimism of, well, next year's our year. It's our year, baby. But
It's
this was the first time, Joe, this past season was the first time I had ever heard Cowboy fans say, I'm not watching these games. I'm not going to a game this year. I am not going to have a Sunday afternoon party. I'm not going to buy any gear. And I'm not saying that it's a full on strike by Cowboy fans, but I think it's enough noise in the room for Jerry Jones to take notice. Because last time we saw them talk, man, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and Stephen scoffed at the idea that there's a, what do you say, so-called slump, so-called Super Bowl slump. It was tone deaf, and I think people finally got to him and
You know who
said,
we need to bring on?
you did something wrong. What's
We
that?
need to bring on the great Jeff Garcia. Jeff, thanks for joining us, man. We got to bring Jeff on proper.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar.
What's up, Jeff? You there with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, man.
Now, one of the things about Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's Five is that if you watch Locked On Spurs, you'll see that he has a very nice backdrop out there, and he had a green screen and all that. People are on the chat line right now commenting about how my office doesn't have anything on the wall. It does have things on the wall, you know, like my degrees and whatnot. There's a New Orleans Saints football, Saints logo. So I do have stuff in here, but I do have some Spurs stuff. I have an item, I think Cuts by Jones got me one of those items a while back, so I'm going to put that back there along with some Spurs memorabilia. I've got this David Robinson Legends of the Court.
That's a good one.
Thing. So I am slowly but surely getting this room in order. We have this New Orleans Saints gear here. Yeah. So I'm slowly but surely making this room mine. It just so happens to be that the wall behind me is the last wall that I need to do in this room. So very nice. So talking to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's Five. Couple of things, Jeff. Ever since we last talked to you about a week ago or so, we saw all the injuries happen with the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks have the 10th spot in the Western Conference, and it was looking like, hey, man, 43 wins, 42 wins might be needed to make the play-in tournament. Dallas is reeling, man. Kyrie Irving going out for a year with an ACL injury. They had already lost Anthony Davis for an extended period of time. That team is reeling. I'm looking at it, Jeff. It might take only 38, 39 wins to get into the play-in now. Spurs play the Mavericks back-to-back in the next week or so. This is put up or shut up time for the Spurs, isn't it?
It is, and you hope last year, the way they ended the season strong, it'll duplicate again this year. And if so, a push like that could theoretically get them into the play-in. Now, they got to help themselves. They can't be losing to Charlotte the way they did. They can't be, getting these close losses and getting smoked. But it starts tonight. You know, they're going to go against the Kings. It's going to be a highly emotional game. Harrison Barnes, obviously De'Aaron Fox returning to Sacramento. Joe brought up a good point, too, on tomorrow's Locked On Spurs, which we recorded. It's also a reunion for DeMar DeRozan against his former team, too. So you gotta put all that together. So it starts today. They got to start getting some W's. It's within reach, but who is their closest competition for that last spot in the play-in?
Well, Jeff, I'm looking at the standings right now. You have Dallas right now at the 10th spot at 32 and 31. And you got to feel like they're going to fall like a lead balloon. So I'm not even looking at them anymore. I'm looking at who's 11. 11 is the Phoenix Suns at 29 and 33. Yeah. I think Phoenix is 29 and 33, who's 2 games ahead of the Spurs. I think Portland, who's half a game ahead of the Spurs at 28 and 35, and then you have the Spurs at 26 and 34. One of those 3 teams is going to make the play-in. Mm-hmm. One of those 3, because it ain't going to be Dallas. Dallas isn't going to come back after all of these injuries. Dallas is going to fall off. So who's it going to be? It's going to be Phoenix, Portland, or San Antonio, and all bunched up and separated by just 2 games in the loss column. Yeah. And you look at the Spurs schedule right now. Next couple of weeks, I know there's no Wemby, but the next couple of weeks, some winnable games out there. We're not playing any Oklahoma Cities out there. We've got Sacramento on the road. In Sacramento, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a decent team. As you said, an emotional game, and you think that
Yeah.
you'd want to see Barnes and Fox ball out. After that, you got Minnesota, good team. But then Dallas,
Yeah.
Charlotte,
Yep.
New Orleans.
It's doable. They just you just don't know what team you're going to get. Are you going to get the team that lost to Charlotte the way they did against a G League team? Are you going to get the one that took care of business versus Brooklyn? So that's the only thing with the Spurs that I don't know. I don't trust them to go out there. Now, I think what they could do right now is start getting Fox going, let him be the focal point of the offensive attack, get that charged up, let Castle or Devin be your number two guy right now, and roll the dice out there. But I think what's going to hurt the Spurs is, man, they're a small team now. They're just small. Bismack and Sohan are your two centers. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So you got Bassie. Who knows when he's coming back? But if all you got to do is just be a bigger team. That's why I was a little surprised that they lost to, I mean, they beat Memphis, because Memphis, even without John Morant and Bain, they're still a big team. But kudos for the Spurs for getting that W. So they just, it's within grasp, it's within reach. But my question is that the one team I look at that list right there, I think the Suns, they got a comfortable 3-game lead there, but is their strength of schedule stronger or weaker than San Antonio's?
I think it's stronger than San Antonio's as far as
Yeah.
them being able to make the play in, more so
Yeah.
than San Antonio. They have a tougher strength of schedule. The other thing, too,
Yeah.
is San Antonio has 22 games left in the season. Arguably, if you want to get into, let's say, the 36 win territory, you'd have to go 12-10 the rest of the season, meaning you have to win 12 games and only lose 10. I don't know if I really see that happening, Jeff. The math, it don't math well. We can't go ahead and make the numbers up. These are what
It,
is presented to us.
it may not math well, but also in mathematics there are variables, and there's a lot of variables that could play well into Spurs' favor. Portland, oh man, I look at Portland 28-35. They're not a bad team. They're not horrible. They got some horses there, with Simons and Grant. Man, I think it's gonna come down to the wire, Jimenez. I think it's gonna be one of those things. It's like that last week of the season, and you see all the projections. San Antonio gets in if Phoenix loses this, and then Portland beat these two. I mean, it'll be that kind of scenario. This is gonna be a race of the last game of the season.
That's right. Talking to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's Five. Did we, as Spurs fans, go too hard on Devin Vassell? Devin Vassell balled out in the last game, but
No, I don't think so.
Explain.
I don't think there were Spurs fans have been hard on him, because he admitted himself that not having a full offseason to get going and get in some good reps before the season started is not an excuse for his confidence. So he said it himself. So I think he wants that smoke. I think he wants that locker room material to motivate him. Look, he had a great game, 30-plus points versus Brooklyn. But that's the thing, versus Brooklyn.
I was going to
Can he do it tomorrow versus the Kings? Can he do it against Minnesota? With no Wemby, Jimenez, shouldn't this be his time to shine as well?
Right, you would think so, Jimenez. But I was going to tell you, Jeff, look at this. This is what Devin Vassell's done in the last 10 games, right?
Not bad.
He's averaged 14 points a game. He's averaged 2.4 assists, 4.1 blocks, shooting the ball 41.2% from the field. From beyond the arc, he's at 29%, knocking down 87.5% of his free throws from the stripe. This is in the last 10 games. Small sample size here. But the one thing that me and Mike have kind of griped about is he's consistently inconsistent, given what's happened, injury, whatnot, didn't give enough time to go ahead and get his reps in, before the season started. I mean, you're a basketball player. You get paid to ball, brother. He's getting paid a lot of money to go out there and produce, and he's been kind of inconsistent the last couple seasons. I think he's reached the pinnacle. I mean, Mike, what are your thoughts, man?
I think the problem with Devin Vassell is that he simply meets expectations. He doesn't exceed them. Put up his stats again, Joe. It was very telling here what's going on. We've seen Devin Vassell go off and average 19 points per game, close to 20 points per game when he was the focal point of the offense pre-Wemby. And we figured with Wemby in the lineup, and I know Wemby's out for the rest of the season, but with Wemby in the lineup, we thought that would free up Devin Vassell to knock down some threes and that he could be a more prolific scorer. The problem is that it didn't materialize. This year, Devin Vassell averaging 15.9 points per game, 34.8% from three. So his shooting from three has gone down a little bit. His points per game have gone down a little bit. And defensively, he's never been what he was at Florida State. At Florida State, Devin Vassell was a lockdown defender. A lockdown defender in the way that we see Stephon Castle now. And it's just so weird that he goes to the NBA, the defense never materializes, and offensively, he is just a pretty decent player. But we don't want, as Spurs fans, a decent player at a $29 million a year price point who's going to be on this roster unless Spurs get rid of him the next 3 seasons or so. So I think the frustration is not that he's inconsistent or consistent. It's just that we know that this is the best he'll ever be. He doesn't have that next level. We talked about this, Joe, on Locked On Spurs, and Jeff on Locked On Spurs. We talked about taking it up another level, right? And what were they taking a leap, right? Well, we saw from Devin Vassell that he doesn't have a leap in him. He is who he is.
Better player right now, Mike. Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell.
Right now, I would go with Castle.
Yeah, I mean, I trust Devin Vassell to shoot the three more than Castle. But Castle right now is showing to be that he's part of the big three in the mix, right? So you take a look at what Castle's bringing to this team. I hesitated a little bit because I didn't want to be disrespectful of Devin Vassell when it comes to all that. But the potential there we see with Stephon Castle. And you asked the other day, Jeff, on Twitter, do we just etch Stephon Castle's name onto the trophy, right, for the
Rookie of the Year? Yeah.
Rookie of the Year? He plays 6 more games. He answers yes, right? The only thing that's going to prevent Stephon Castle from making Rookie of the Year is the exact same thing that prevented Victor Wembanyama from winning Defensive Player of the Year, which is injury. You need 65 wins or 65 games played in order to qualify. He has 59, get to 65, and he's there.
I thought you were going to say Mitch Johnson by sitting him.
No. Mitch finally got it. He's playing him a lot, so his minutes have increased. He may not be starting, but he's definitely getting more minutes than Chris Paul right now. So that's good to see. You know, we're having a question today. Locked On Spurs will be releasing in about an hour-ish. James Pleasure joined us. And the question is to get your guys' thoughts on this. Is there an emerging big three in San Antonio right now with Fox, Wemby, and Castle? Or is the wild card the player that they draft in the upcoming draft? Because they're going to get a high pick, and they could move up, they can trade down, they can get multiple picks. They have to be flagged, but they can definitely bring in a solid player. Is there an emerging big three or no?
Well, Jeff, people got pissed at me on Twitter when I asked the question, is it possible that Wemby is going to be the Robin to Castle's Batman? And a lot of Spurs fans got pissed off when I said that. That was me being complimenting Stephon Castle, right? So you have a big three there. I think there's a missing piece, Jeff. I think there's a missing piece there, whether it's through this draft or not. Spurs fans right now are holding the number 9 and 11 picks in the draft, right? According to Tankathon.
Yeah.
And a lot of Spurs fans are like, well, go for the play-in tournament because, the fact of the matter is that we're in line to get a number 9 pick, right? Who cares about the 9 pick? But then I looked it up. Historically, Dirk Nowitzki was a number 9 pick.
Yeah.
Tracy McGrady was a number 9 pick. There's a lot of good players that have fallen to number 9 over the years. Zach Edey, who right now is 3rd in the Rookie of the Year rookie ladder, according to NBA.com, behind Castle and Jalen Wells. So is there a big three emerging? I think we have 3 solid pieces. I think we need a superstar along the way. And if Castle's that superstar, that future budding star, or De'Aaron Fox takes it up a level and becomes an all-star performer, you need to have another one behind you.
All right. And I'm glad you brought that up because another question we had today is, okay, fine. If maybe that emerging big three is not there yet, possible, how much does a Kevin Durant coming to San Antonio change all that?
that changes tremendously.
Yes.
And there are a lot of Spurs fans. Now, here's the thing about Durant. The question becomes, does it take him having a big-ass extension to come over here, or is he simply doing what Chris Paul did and played out the last year of a contract? If he's played out one last year of a contract, I want him here, and I want him here now. Okay? The reason being is because you look at Victor Wembanyama and his skill set, who do we say he reminds us of? Kevin Durant.
Well, he openly says that Kevin Durant is the guy he idolized.
So we've seen Castle learn from CP3. That was the good part of CP3 coming over here. Not what he does on the field or on the court, but what he does to rub off on Stephon Castle. If you have Kevin Durant play alongside Victor Wembanyama for a year, imagine what Wemby can learn.
Yeah.
Because he ain't getting it from Mitch Johnson. He ain't getting that coaching from Mitch Johnson. He ain't getting that coaching from a 76-year-old, 77-year-old Greg Popovich.
Look at Kevin Durant's stats, Mike. Look at what he's done so far in the season.
Bringing good numbers, man.
2024, 2025, 26.9 points per game, right? 4.2 assists, shooting the ball 52.7% from the field goal range, right? Then you look at what he's doing from beyond the arc, 39.8%. All right, if I look at Devin Vassell and see what he's doing, let's make a comparison right now. Because what do I say? People lie, women lie, the numbers, they don't lie, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at what Devin Vassell's doing compared to Kevin Durant. Spurs fans say that they don't want Kevin Durant here on the team. This is what Devin Vassell's been doing.
34% versus 39. 16 points versus 26. Now, a lot of Spurs fans are on social media are like, well, he doesn't play good defense. Not everybody plays two-way ball, man. I mean, if Kevin Durant is out there scoring 26, 27 points per game, defensively, that is what Castle's for. Defensively, that's what Wemby's for, Sohan, De'Aaron Fox. They're the ones who are supposed to handle the defensive load. Okay, we're not going to get an all-world player on both ends of the court, for every single position. That doesn't happen, right? But I like the fact that his contract lines up with the fact that we have to pay Wemby immediately after, right? Yeah. I don't want to sign him for a 2-year, $120 million extension. No. If he wants to play out his contract just like CP3, make it happen. 2 picks, and what was a projection by Fox Sports where they say Vassell, Keldon, and Wesley?
Keldon, Vassell, yeah.
Wesley, yeah.
In a heartbeat, dude. In a heartbeat. Jeff, let me ask you this question. Let's say that did happen, and he had a starting lineup of De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes, Kevin Durant, and Victor Wembanyama. How many wins that team getting?
That gets you well into at least one of the 6 slots in the West.
50.
I think so.
50 plus?
But I'm glad you brought that up. Now, okay, let's just say everything happens and it's roses and it's fun and Kevin Durant, yay, Fox, Wemby, Castle, Durant, yay, way to go, San Antonio. Okay, there's another question we have on today's Locked On Spurs. Does that border onto a super team where historically super teams haven't worked out?
No, I don't think it's a super team because you only have
one. A super team?
You only have one that has a chip.
They tried it in Brooklyn. Harden doesn't have one.
I don't think it's a super team at all because
they're trying it in Phoenix. It's not working out.
De'Aaron Fox is not a star. Stephon Castle's not a star.
Okay, so when you had the big 3 over in Miami, right? And you had Wade and what was his name?
Bosh,
and you had
LeBron
James, right? And they got together. They didn't instantly win championships. It took them another season or so to win.
Yeah,
right?
and I get that, Joe. But historically, super teams haven't worked out. That's like the exception.
Yeah.
It's been exceptions. It's been the Heatles, and I guess you would say the Warriors when Durant joined them.
Yeah,
but
they were a super team.
But it hasn't worked out in Phoenix for years. It didn't work out in Brooklyn when they had Kyrie and Irving and KD. And it just hasn't worked out. As you mentioned, too, it took Miami multiple years before they finally got one. And
Did
I don't know
Spurs have a super team, Jeff?
What's that?
Did the Spurs have a super team? Think about it. Who did they have on their team at the time? They had David Robinson. They had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker. Coming off the bench, you have Manu Ginobili. A great cast of characters surrounding
4 Hall of Famers right there.
I'm like, damn, was that a super team?
It was. Low-key, it was. It was a super team.
History hasn't worked out.
Right, but it's just one of those things, though, is that, you look at the landscape of the NBA right now. It's an arms race. We saw Oklahoma City come into town and just destroy this team. And the Spurs made 16 3-pointers in the first half, a franchise record, and got lost by 14 or 15, right? It's an arms race. And a lot of people are on our stream right now, powered by MCS General Contracting, on our chat line saying, we just need quality players. We do not need quality players. We need stars. Quality players don't win dick. Quality players don't win dick. Quality players get you 50 wins and bounce in the first or second round. That is what quality players get you. You need effing stars to win in this league.
Okay,
You gotta look at Boston.
Tell that to Denver.
Denver with a 3-time MVP.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have multiple mega stars.
They don't have superstars on their team. They have
So
one.
So we're gonna go through all the championship teams in the last 20, 30 years. You can say, okay, well, the Detroit Pistons with Chauncey Billups didn't win with a lot of stars. That's an anomaly, man. That's 1 out of like 10, right? Because the Spurs had Tim, Tony, and Manu, 3 Hall of Famers. You had David Robinson, you had 4. You have
the
Golden
2014
State.
Spurs weren't that great versus the Miami Heat. Miami Heat had the more talent than San Antonio.
But the Spurs still had 4 Hall of Famers, including Kawhi Leonard, future Hall of Famer, in there. You have Golden State, who has Clay, Steph, Draymond, and Durant. You have Kyrie Irving and LeBron James with Cleveland. You have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
I like what Hanover Fist says. Boston only has 2 guys, and that's it.
Yeah, but they're also 2 of the top 10 players in the NBA. Are they not?
I don't think you need to get multiple megastars in San Antonio.
Look at what Ben G's saying. Laugh my ass off. Mike is amped.
What about OKC? They only got really 1. That's it.
Okay, OKC now has 2 All-Stars because they have the guy that Jalen Williams, who
but he's not on Shea's level though.
He's not on Shea's level, but that team is interesting, and you can look at Cleveland's team as well. They're interesting teams in the sense that they're not quality players, dude. They have all above average players. These aren't like just teams that are deep because they have some quality players. To me, a quality player is Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell is a quality player. You put 12 quality players on a team, that's a losing record right there. Because quality players don't win championships, don't win playoff series. You need to have above average players. Oklahoma City with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's going to win the MVP this year. They're winning all these games by 12 plus points per game without Chet Holmgren. Without him, you add him to the mix to get even better. And Oklahoma City has 3 of the next 19 picks in the draft this year. They could have a top 7 pick. They have Philadelphia.
No knock on De'Aaron Fox, but De'Aaron Fox got an All-Star. I think he was a medical fill-in.
Yeah,
an injury replacement.
Well, so is DeJounte. I mean,
exactly. And how's DeJounte? He hasn't gone back, has he?
Right, but De'Aaron Fox is a better player than DeJounte Murray.
LaMarcus Aldridge got in by default.
Yeah. So, I just don't like the idea of let's just trot out just dudes. Let's just trot out dudes. If there's a star that wants to play with Wemby, if there's a star that wants to play alongside De'Aaron Fox, then let the star play. Did you say Devin
Vassell is a quality player?
Yeah, he's a quality player. He's an above average
quality player. Does a quality player be inconsistent as he is?
Yes, because that's the difference between a quality player and a star player. Star players
Joe,
consistent,
there, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Star players are consistent. Inconsistent players can be quality players from time to time.
Joe,
name the number of players, right? Name the number of players who average 17 points a game for their career.
Cook them, Joe.
Cook them. Why? Because I'm spitting truth. Hey,
he's a superstar. He's not a superstar.
Jeff,
put it like that.
Jeff, let's talk about Stephon Castle real fast. I find this to be interesting. I'm looking at the historic rookie of the years going back from the beginning of time, but I really only want to discuss the last 50 years.
By the way, Joe, Mike, I don't mean to cut you off real fast, but just real quick, I do like that's a good point by Hanover Fist. Look at the Cavs. Tell me how many megastars they got on their roster, and they're leading the East.
Yeah, but they also have three of those players are all-stars.
Oh, yeah, Jimenez.
Are they not?
You just went from we need to bring in stars, mega stars. Now they've got good complementary players.
Oh, I'm sorry. All star is not a good player, not a star.
No, you just said right now.
So you're telling me that actual all stars do not count as just because they're not big names because they're a small market like San Antonio doesn't mean that they're not big players. Same goes with like Aaron Gordon back in Denver and all those guys. Just because they're not big media market guys.
Happy, man.
Mike, you're capping hard today, bro. Capping
Yeah,
hard,
you are,
man.
You are.
All right, so let's go through Rookie of the Year, man. Here's the interesting thing. Right now, Stephon Castle's in line to win Rookie of the Year. He is far and away the favorite according to Las Vegas. The only thing that's going to stop him is injury. Play 6 more games, etch his name on the trophy. He's averaging 13.2 points per game this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going back in time. That is one of the lowest points per game ever by a Rookie of the Year. Now, I don't care what happened in the year 1952, right? But let's go back in time. 10.2 points per game is the lowest in modern history. That was Malcolm Brogdon in 2017. In 1995, at 11.7 points per game, Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
2001, Mike Miller at 11.9.
I'm sorry, man, as I'm listening to you, man, but his comments, man, are making me laugh like crazy right now.
Well, unfortunately,
Tony Ornelas came in clutch. Mike
Yeah, he did.
nothing but chorizo.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Oh,
That means nothing.
Man, I just clowned on Tony.
Better stop it,
Ornelas
Tony.
right
He's gonna
now.
call ice on
He
you,
just
bro.
owned
I
he
mean,
just clowned
talking
on Tony
talking
big time.
exit 7 doesn't mean shit to me. I mean,
Oh,
like I'm sorry. Was I
um,
supposed to be clowned? Was I supposed to be like, oh my god, he hurt my feelings? Fuck
He's
talking your
capping
exit
hard.
7.
He's digging his own grave today, Jeff.
All right, so Amari Stoudemire averaged 13 points per game back in the day, Joe. Should this be one of those awards where you look at it and you go, we're happy that Stephon Castle's going to win it because he's a Spur? But from a historical context, this was a very weak draft.
it was.
From a historical context, this was also a weak Rookie of the Year race. Correct?
Okay,
True or
yeah.
false?
True. It would have been interesting if McCain didn't get hurt, though.
So, okay. So, do you think I'm looking at the last All Stars, right? So, the last Rookie of the Years, right? They all became All Stars at some point for the most part, right? I mean, not the Malcolm Brogdons of the world, but you know, when LeBron James and Victor Wembanyama win Rookie of the Year and all that stuff, the last Rookie of the Years, Wemby, All Star, Paolo Banchero, All Star, Scotty Barnes, good player, LaMelo Ball, All Star, John Morant, Luka Doncic, Ben Simmons, Malcolm Brogdon, Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Michael Carter Williams. Don't get me wrong, there have been a few weak ones out there, but do you consider Stephon Castle to be more on the weaker side of the Rookie of the Year winners, or do you believe that he is in fact a future All Star?
Future All Star.
Interesting.
He has all the makings of a future All Star. All the makings of it. I mean, the intangibles, the grit, that want, that desire, the X's and O's. He's only going to get better. He
Yeah.
dropped 30 something recently on guys. Yeah, he's going to be an All Star.
And we have John Dyer, exit 7 in the house, saying Yolanda being me, watering down Castle season is so predictable.
By the way, Jimenez, I wasn't saying they were clowning on you. I was saying you were clowning on Tony Ornelas. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing to him too.
Well,
right?
see, and this is the thing. I cannot do the show and follow the stream at the same time. I have the inability to juggle both tasks. That's why whenever I'm doing my show, I will look over at the screen to see what the chat's doing, and Joe will bring them up. But the way that this is done, where I'm not in studio, is so foreign to me because this studio is done differently when I'm on remote. That it's
'Cause
not
you're
my normal
looking at
thing.
the screen. You're sitting at the table, and I have the screen there for you, and you're talking, and you can just kind of look up and see the comments coming in. You know?
Right, because when I'm in studio, I'm looking at you and the comments at the same time. It's a
Yeah.
different dynamic. So that's why I don't know what's going on in the chat stream because I'm focusing on the
And
show
I'm seeing
itself.
Tony Ornelas' comment here. I wasn't taking it back. I was just saying that Mike was trying to clown you, Tony. That's all I was saying.
Don't take it back.
Okay. So
No, what are you talking about? I'm not taking anything back. Rewind the tape.
down.
Go, hit the rewind button there, Tony. You'll hear me say Hey Tony, Mike is trying to clown on you.
Dude, why is everybody taking things so seriously?
Damn, Jeff ready to throw down with Tony Ornelas. You better watch out. Jefe coming for you, man. He's gonna put the guns on you.
Sam
Yeah,
Feliz, what are you juggling, Mike?
What are you talking about juggling? Oh, I see.
Oh, Mike has so many inabilities. They were saying that Mike cooks chorizo, but he won't eat it, Jeff, because it's too ethnic for him.
Sounds about right, or it sounds
No,
about right.
okay. First of all, chorizo and egg prices have gone through the roof these days because of the egg prices going to like $9 a dozen. You go around, man. Dude, that's the saddest thing about it all, man.
So what? Just get the liquid eggs.
Oh,
gross,
man.
dude.
Oh, you want to save some
Cook
money?
'em.
There's that option.
Joe, cook them, Joe.
Nasty, dude. That's nasty. That's what they serve over at McDonald's, man. That liquid egg.
Is that what that is at McDonald's? The liquid egg?
Nasty,
Yeah.
dude.
So Jeff, bringing up Castle in the context of historical rookie of the years. First of all, Castle is my favorite player on this team, right? And when I say that I think that he could be as good of a player as an all-star level, that's not me watering it down. It's just from the context of historically, it is a weak draft. Historically, it was a weak race, right? Castle wouldn't have been first or second when it came to Wemby and Chet Holmgren. He would have been third, fourth, or fifth.
Yeah.
In a normal year, Castle's third, fourth, or fifth, but probably first team. That is not me watering it down. That is me just
trying to bag
speaking
on
truth.
Castle?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. I've just letting everybody know that this is great that he gets the accolade. It's great that he gets the award. We get back-to-back Rookie of the Years. That's a positive thing. From a historical sense, Wemby would have won the award basically 9 out of 10 years. From a historical sense, Castle would have won the award 3 out of 10 years. That's the point I'm trying to make. And that's not me bagging on Castle. That's just spitting truth.
No, I was just trying to see where you're going with this. That's all.
Yeah.
No. Hey, by the way, did you see that UTSA poll? Yeah, it looks like San Antonians are not completely in favor of Project Marvel.
Yeah, Don Harris did not like your post, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I
Don
did not
Harris,
see
the
that.
news
No,
for
what did I
San Antonio.
miss?
He basically said, "What are y'all talking about? The numbers show that more people are supportive of it than against it."
I just put. I said it's not overwhelmingly in favor. It's close. Look at how it broke down. There's still 20% out there that are undecided.
Who cares about Don Harris, dude? F that guy, man.
Well, no. What Don is saying is that it's kind of like this. What spin do you want to take with the numbers? Right. The spin you can take is more people are supportive of it or not than not. Or you could say that the other way is that overwhelmingly there's not a lot of support.
Where's the money going to come from? I think that's the biggest question because it's
I think so
currently
too.
1.2 between 1.2 and 1.5 billion. San Antonio needs to stop lying to the people. It's going to go well above 1.5 mil, way above. Even though they go ahead and say, well, it's going to cost this much. They're going to keep moving the goalpost. It's going to cost more money. At the end of the day, what is the one thing that you say about San Antonio, Mike? Huh? What do you say all the time? Your favorite thing you like to point out?
Well,
San Antonio is a poor city. Where's the money going to come from?
Well, that's the thing is that the bulk of it, not all of it, but the bulk of it should be coming from tourists, right? But as has been pointed out, it cannot all come from tourism because they're still paying off the Frost Bank Center. They're still paying off renovations of the Alamo Dome. They're still paying off various things with those dollars.
I feel bad for the East side of San Antonio, man. After all those promises, nothing ever came out of it.
Hey, well, that's the Spurs doing.
I
felt bad for them.
So the thing about Project Marvel is it's too ambitious for an unambitious city. That's simply put. San Antonio is small market and will never do anything big. Will never do anything big. And will the Spurs eventually move because of it? We'll know in 2033. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that the Rocket La Cantera is like, oh my God, do you see? They're going to stay forever. They wouldn't have built that complex over there. Dude, it's just a freaking building, man. They didn't build a palace. They built a gym with a restaurant on top.
And it's still too far away, too, man. Going to those Spurs media sessions there sucks sometimes.
Yeah. So, am I wrong in thinking that people thinking that the Rock is proof that the Spurs are going to stay? Why? It's a building.
Please tweet that. Please, I'm begging you to tweet that.
What's that?
about the Rock and Stain and Spurs.
It's literally real estate in a building.
Okay, yeah, you should put that on X, Mike. I think you should.
Real estate in a building. You know what's going to happen here? Okay, so let's say the Spurs don't get Project Marvel approved. They're not going to get their stadium downtown. They're in the Frost Bank Center for the foreseeable future here. They're going to go ahead and just see out the contract or the lease that they have with the Frost Bank or Frost Center, should I say. Now, the thing is, if the Spurs don't get a deal done where they get a new, they're due for one. They want to keep up with what everybody else is doing in the NBA. What's going to happen? Are they going to move? They're going to threaten to move the team. They're going to go. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to Seattle. They're going to go to Austin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Las Vegas.
Vegas, yeah, that could be an option too.
The
They're going to
city
use
of-
that as a dangling point, like put the carrot in front of everybody.
Well, the city of San Antonio needs to realize that the cost of doing business in sports is a new arena every 30 years. That is the cost of doing business to keep up with the Joneses, because unless you have a Madison Square Garden or you have a Wrigley Field, or Fenway Park, you need to have a new arena. The Knicks aren't going to do it because of real estate issues over there in Manhattan, right? So MSG is MSG, and they're going to always renovate it. But if you want to have a team in San Antonio, Denver, Oklahoma City, look at Seattle. Did Seattle build their team? An arena? No. And what were they, Joe? Gone. The Houston Oilers, when they were asked, "Hey, can you the Astrodome's too old. Build us a new arena, a new stadium." They said no. And what happened, Joe? Gone. It is factual that you need to upgrade your arena every 30 years to keep up with the Joneses, because you can't have a 40-year-old arena that you go to, and then you see what happens in Vegas, what happens in when they have their games over there, the exhibitions, or you see what happens in LA or in other cities. You can't have that happen, Joe.
Yeah.
What's better right now? You said the Toyota Center. Compare that to the Frost Bank Center.
Toyota Center is huge, man.
Which is better, Mike?
Which is better? I like Frost Bank Center more than Toyota Center.
No, I like Frost Bank Center. I mean, sorry, the Toyota Center. I like that one better.
You like the one in Houston better?
Yeah.
I've gone twice to Spurs games over there. Wasn't impressed.
That big screen, that big flat screen above the court is pretty cool.
I also wasn't impressed by Philadelphia, by the way. Philadelphia's arena, the Wells Fargo Center, wasn't that good. Hey, I'm gonna need to take a call real fast, so you two take it off from here.
All right.
Hey, what's up with Jimenez today, man? He's on one.
I don't know, man. He's capping hard today. But we're just talking about, what's going to happen with Project Marvel. See what's going to happen there moving forward. But Jeff, do you have any Spurs news you'd like to share with us right now? Anything that you're working on?
Fans are talking about it in the chat right now. Did you check out that interview I had with the guy who sold the jersey, the infamous Wemby jersey swap? Did you see that?
You had a live stream going on with that, and the fans were saying, "Oh, we didn't know you were doing a live stream today," but it was a good discussion to be had. Give us a little insight on what happened there.
Now, mind you, this is his perspective, his side of the story. So obviously he's going to be swayed to his favor. But in a nutshell, apparently he tried multiple times when the Spurs visited the Knicks and the Nets. Against the Knicks, they tried, according to him, the Spurs staff were rude to him and his kid. They didn't want to get in close to Wemby. They were looking at the kid like sideways. Didn't happen. So then he finally was able to do it in Brooklyn with a little boy. And apparently it was Keldon Johnson that encouraged Wemby to do the viral photo of Wemby with the little jersey and then the little kid with the big, massive jersey. But, a lot of fans, a lot of people who listened in are not really believing what he's saying. And, he throws out how Luka jerseys are worth more than Wemby's. He wasn't in it for the money. But it's a very interesting chat. Unfortunately, he couldn't do video. He couldn't do audio. He didn't feel comfortable because, according to him, he said he's getting threats from people. So he didn't want his face out there. But If you have a chance, go to the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. It was Monday's episode, so go back a few days. Listen to it all. It's very interesting to hear what he has to say from, how it went up to auction. Was the money, the sell point, the reason why he wanted it out, or yes or no? You got to go check it out.
He's back. Mike came
What I
back.
missed?
Oh, we're just talking about Jeff and what he has cooking as far as his latest Locked On Spurs live
Yeah,
stream.
Jimenez, I don't know if you saw, but I had the guy who sold that jersey on Golden. The
Yeah.
actual father. Yeah, he came on Locked On Spurs this past Monday, and it's pretty interesting what he had to say from his point of view. So,
Yeah, dude. That father, dude. Something else, man. That father. He
I was
went to bed.
surprised he agreed to come on. I was a little surprised. He was like, "Yeah, I'll go on." I was like, "All right, I ain't gonna say no to that."
Sam Salinas comes out with, shh, 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 Mike's back. Like you guys were talking about me when I'm gone. Mario Cavazza
is
saying-
his realtor in line.
Mario
number one.
Cavazza saying Mike is mad because girlfriend has given up relations with him for Lent. Okay, first of all, I'm not Catholic, neither is she. But here's the thing, Jeff, are you guys Catholic?
No, man.
No,
Okay, so no one gave up anything for Lent. Should we do that anyway? 40
No.
days of something?
no.
What are you gonna
40
do?
days of tortillas?
Yeah, if there's such thing as a God, you're gonna go to the pearly gates and be, well, you didn't give up tortillas for 40 days. You can't come in.
I was going to share this stat with you guys, and you let me know what you think of this. The Spurs have had some type of a season, riddled with injury and whatnot, losing Wemby for the rest of the season, getting Fox, not seeing Fox and Wemby get enough playing time. Still going to be another losing season. But despite all that, look at this stat that stands out. The Spurs retweeted this about an hour ago. 200 games in a row with 20-plus assists, longest streak in NBA history. At least we got that to look forward to, right? Even though we're not going to play it. What do you think, Jeff?
Hey, it's some bright, a little silver lining in an otherwise gray season. I mean, where there's, look, the season's pretty much over at this point. I mean, again, we'll see what the play-in shakes out. But if they don't make it in, the Fox deal, I think that was great for the rebuild. Castle's been a revelation. Likely will get the Rookie of the Year award. Then there's De'Aaron Fox, how he's going to fit in moving forward. So there were some silver linings too, but otherwise it was just kind of a gray season from Wemby getting hurt, Pop's medical condition. Now we have a head coaching spot that could be in flux if Pop decides to hang it up moving forward. By the way, did you see that interview or that chat that the ESPN Sharania did regarding when Pop came to visit the players, and that according to him, the players noticed that there was some signs that Pop wasn't completely recovered from what he went through.
Stroke. Yeah, I mean that's to be expected. I mean, when you have a stroke, no matter how, let's say it wasn't a strong stroke, it was a weak one, it wasn't very severe. There's still
had a mild heart attack.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of things that you have to do as far as come back from that, and you have to rehab and all that. He could probably be a little, paralyzed from, his mouth, left side, right side of the body, depending on, where the stroke affected him. He has to learn how to talk again, motor skills, all that kind of stuff. It takes a lot of time for you to come back 100% from something that devastating. And we're probably not going to see him come back until next season. And if he comes back, I think they'll just wheel him out there, let him go out for a game or so and give him his roses and send him off on his way. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I think we've seen the last of Coach Pop, not trying to be, mean by any stretch of the means, the imagination here, but think about it. He's had a stroke. You can't come back from that. You're already at a certain age. There's no way that you can come back and coach at that same level due to the nature of your injury. I think that's it for Coach Pop. Unfortunately, I think the Spurs are going to start moving on from him. But I did want to show this, Jeff. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but the San Antonio FC season is going to kick off this week, and they're kind of teasing that, and they're showing Wemby
I know that.
doing the ping pong with Connor Maloney of San Antonio FC. It's kind of funny, man, because look at how the height difference is here. It's crazy, man.
Hey, just don't hope he doesn't take a ping pong to the face and start bleeding.
Jeez. And they're asking a question. They go, how important is Rookie of the Year really? How many careers did winning Rookie of the Year make or break? Insignificant accolade. And this is coming from Sam Salinas. He says, equivalent to a college degree, no longer being a factor after an established career. I think the Rookie of the Year still has some merit here.
Yeah, me too.
You know, it still shows that you're the best of that rookie class there. And doesn't it come with some compensation as well, Jeff?
Yeah, I think so. They get some cash, all that good stuff. But oh, just for the
You get to
confidence of
negotiate a bigger. You get to
there you
negotiate
go.
your
Yeah, thank you.
contract.
You read my mind. Yeah, he gets a little paid down the road. So yeah, I think it does well for him, and I think he needs it too because he went through that weird stretch of games after the All-Star break where he was just like not himself. I thought he was in the doghouse. Jimenez.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because they were saying, "Oh, it's because of turnovers," and I'm like, "Devin Vassell's throwing up bricks right now. We're talking about turnovers. Get the heck out of here, right?" But no, he's in line. Just play the 6 games, and he's in line to win Rookie of the Year. Talking to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Jeff, what did you think about the Oscars? Did you watch the Oscars at all?
I did not. But I remember back when I was younger, I used to watch them faithfully, and I just lost interest in it. It feels almost too predictable now.
It does.
But it feels just who's going to win. You don't even have to watch it anymore. But no. Like I said, I've been watching other stuff. I finished up caught up, I should say, with the review season of Reacher on Amazon Prime. I'm surprised that guy Alan Rickman has not been cast as peak Batman. The guy's freaking monster. I'm gonna. By the way, I highly recommend everybody check out Paradise on Hulu. That is an amazing series. That's the series of the year for me. This early 2025. That is a great series.
I just started that, Jeff, on Hulu the other night.
You're gonna be hooked, Joe. You're gonna be hooked.
I was, dude. I started watching episode 1. Then I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to binge this over the weekend. Check that out.
Yeah, and I'm glad Elias brought this up about evil John Cena. You know what? Look, it just feels like every so often this happens. I'm not surprised he went evil John Cena. Hogan did it. Cena's did it. I mean, how many other countless people have done turn heel? So there's that. And I also think too, that whole good guy side of him is kind of played out already. Why not try something new? So yeah, I mean, not totally unexpected. But as far as TV shows are concerned, yeah, Paradise is up there for me. Look, the reason I like Reacher is that's a man show, man. That's a manly man show.
You want to watch a good show too? One on Netflix that I recommend is The Night Agent. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's a really good series. Check that one out, Jeff. Check that one out.
And of course, Joe, I got it. I got queued up after I finished catching up with the Paradise's Daredevil, man.
Oh yeah, I watched that one. That was good. What were you gonna say, Mike?
Oh, I've been catching up on rewatching actually a miniseries that came out a couple of years ago, Under the Banner of Heaven, with Andrew Garfield on Hulu.
Oh, I have seen that. That was a good one. Yeah,
that was
good.
A really good one. But it got me thinking about something, Jeff. That one has Rory Culkin.
Yeah.
And Rory Culkin has had a really big career.
Yes, yeah.
And then you have the other Culkin brother, Kieran Culkin, who won an Oscar the other day. But they're the younger brothers of Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Right? Can Kieran or Rory ever do anything to ever match what their brother ever did? Or is Macaulay always the alpha Culkin?
No, I think they can surpass him.
I think with the Oscar, that said a lot right there, man.
Yeah, I don't even think Macaulay has one.
Macaulay hasn't won anything. He just has these classic movies from back in the day. By the way, did you know that their aunt is Bonnie Bedelia?
I never knew
I didn't know that.
From Die Hard?
No idea.
So very cool.
Look at this. Elias is saying Mike is going to catch up on Dance Moms.
What's that?
Hey, you know what? Speaking of catching up on things, Mike, you might want to catch up on Around the Horn. They finally announced that the final episode is going to air on May the 23rd. After 23 years on air and more than 4,900 episodes. This is it, Mike. They're going to go ahead and fill the slot now.
I used to see the host the host of that show, walking around New York City constantly. He and his baby and his, I guess, I don't know if they're still together, but his wife, constantly going up and down Soho.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do they go and
Dude,
get sandwiches, man? Because I know that's a big thing in New York.
Yeah, don't tell me that, man. I'm craving one.
Here's the thing, man. I really enjoyed Around the Horn. Out of all the shows, Pardon the Interruption, Around the Horn, all of that, that was my favorite of them all. And Tony Reali seemed to be like a guy who just like won the lottery, right? Because he was Stat Boy on PTI. He didn't
Mhm.
have much experience, and they took a chance on him. He was somebody who wore his faith on his sleeve. He would on Ash Wednesday every year would have the cross on his forehead.
Mhm.
He didn't shy away from who he was. He seemed to be like a very legit guy that you'd want to have a beer with and watch the game with. So I'm happy with him and happy for his success. But those shows are all long and gone, man. They've all gone away. But 23 years is a very, very, very good run in any type of
Yeah.
TV show.
I was going to show this on screen too. Jeff, me and you are big into and when it comes to combat sports, right?
Yeah.
MMA,
Yep.
UFC. One of
You
the
mean
big
you're not, right?
Yeah, one of the biggest
Oh,
deals in boxing has just been made the other day.
Oh,
Turkey. Go ahead.
no. I was gonna see what you got there. Sorry.
Yeah, Turkey, which is he's called His Excellency because he has
Yeah.
all the cash in the world.
Yeah.
And TKO have signed a multi-year partnership to establish a new boxing promotion with executive leadership anchored by UFC president Dana White and WWE president Nick Khan. The new promotion will be coming out. This is a new boxing promotion. They're
Yeah.
going to form a new league, a boxing league that's going to premiere sometime in 2026. And this is big. This is really big if you're a boxing fan.
No,
Because
you know
now
what this reminds me of, Joe? Remember the Live Tour, the
Oh,
golfing thing?
I remember that, dude.
That's what this reminds me of. Man, is it just me, or is that area of the world? You know, the Saudis, everything. Like they're really throwing money at sports
Dude.
recently.
They
yeah,
got
you don't know where the money's coming from either.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw Dana White talk about this yesterday on ESPN, and he was saying that the ultimate goal might be to unify the boxing belts because you have the WBA, WBC, WBO, and all of that stuff, and just basically say, look, man, no one really respects certain
Right.
boxers, and because it's like, who's a champ? How can you have 3 or 4 different champs of the same weight class? And he was basically saying that the goal is to eventually have it all come together the way that it was back in the day.
That's big news, man. If you're a boxing fan, forming that league there, that could be a game changer. Like you were saying, could unify the belts, could actually bring a lot of these boxing matchups that fans want to see, because the biggest stipulation with getting these fights together is them having their own camps, right? Their own promotion. And a lot of these promoters, they don't like to work hand in hand together because they're like, well, what's in it for me? There's too much to lose for my fighter. I don't like this, and the money sometimes isn't even the issue. It's more about what do they gain out of it, So we miss out on a lot of these marquee matchups where we want to see these fighters fight each other in their prime, and that doesn't always come to fruition. But starting a new boxing league, that gives me hope that we'll be able to see more of these marquee matchups and stacked cards moving forward. So if you're a boxing fan, this is big news for you. Another thing that was big news, Mike and Jeff, look at this. Mike Epps has confirmed that last Friday it's officially being made and will feature a new generation of comedians along the OGs from the Friday movies. Excited, not excited about this? What's your thoughts, Jeff?
Should have left it alone.
No, don't come back for one more?
No, leave it alone. It was fine the way it is. Fine the way it is.
Oh,
How
okay.
many didn't they do like multiple back Friday? Last Fridays.
How about this for a throwback?
Oh, New Jack City, yeah.
New Jack City, the TV show coming out this summer on Netflix. Sterling K. Brown. He's really good. He's a really good actor, man. So I'll watch it just for him.
That could work. Yeah, New Jack City as a series, I could see that working for sure.
And New Jack City was one of my favorite shows of all time. By the way, I'm looking at Kieran Culkin. By the way, we were talking about him earlier. Not only does he have an Academy Award, he has an Emmy Award, he has BAFTA awards and Golden Globe nominations.
Yeah.
And beyond all that, if he was to ever pass away and a movie was made of his lifetime, doesn't it look like Pledger would be the one lined up to star as Kieran Culkin?
Oh, God.
That is hilarious. That's funny. Yeah, and Pledger's on Locked On Spurs today. Too bad I didn't know about this now. I would have told him yesterday.
You know what I was going to show you here, Mike, because I know
Yeah.
you were getting close to talking about college football once again. Because they're going to start making some deals and all that things happening behind the scenes with college football. But one of the things that was released here was the college football power rankings as far as the quarterbacks go ahead of the 2025 season. And right now, number one, they have none other than the Texas Longhorns. Great right here, Arch Manning. They have Cade Klubnik, Carson Beck, Drew Aller, Sam Leviat, or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce all their names, but these are telling you who are the top 10 in the quarterback college quarterback rankings are ahead of the 2025 season, because we still got a long way to go before we see college football once again. But there you go, Mike. I mean, what do you think about Arch Manning being number one?
Arch Manning, man, he's gonna have a breakout year, dude. He is. Hey, fellas, I have to let y'all go. I got work calling me.
Yes, yeah, same here. I gotta
Yeah.
go too.
Joe, end
All
the
right.
show for us, brother.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, man.
See you, man. See you, Jeff. I'm going to go ahead and say bye to you and Mike. All right. So as we go ahead and bring the show to a close here, because everybody has to go, we're going to go ahead and give some love here to some of our sponsors, which are going to be MCS General Contracting and also Locked On Spurs. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show. Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and get that diamond hard concrete in your life, and if you want it done right the first time, go ahead and give our friend a call over at MCS General Contracting. That would be Chris Leha. You can reach him at 210-774-9155 for all your contracting needs. And we're also going to go ahead and give some love to our other sponsor here, which is another supporter, should I say, of the show here, which is going to be Jeff Garcia of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And you want to go ahead and support the Locked On Spurs podcast, make sure you go and check out Jeff on the X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Today, he just released a new episode of the Locked On Spurs podcast, your daily Spurs content dropping to you every single day. Go ahead and make sure you check that out. And also give him some love and subscribe to his YouTube channel, as he is 5,000 subscribers strong. Again, you can go ahead and follow Jeff on the X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Go ahead and give him a follow. So we're going to go ahead and bring the show to a close, as I got work to do. Everybody's got work to do. We want to go ahead and say thank you to everybody who's interacted with us, joined us in the chat, given us some love. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Somebody says, when we're going to have the 2,000 subscriber party? We've already passed 2,000 subscribers. We're going to have a party at 3,000, which we're almost there. I anticipate us hitting 3,000 probably sometime in April. That way we have to, plan out, see what we're going to do for the 3,000 subscriber party. But either way, when we go ahead and plan the party, we're going to have it done the right way, which I'm going to set a date and the party's going to happen that particular day. I'm not going to cancel or reschedule. We're going to go ahead and execute that. So stay tuned for that. I do have a birthday coming up this month. Not too sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to let you guys know. Maybe we can get together, have some drinks, talk with you all, take some pics or whatever. Have a good time, man, and celebrating the birthday. But I'll let you all know what I decide to do and when that day actually does happen here in March. But we're going to go ahead and bring the show to an end. Again, appreciate all y'all's support. We'll see you boys tomorrow. We're out. Peace.